Hello, welcome to this Rob Game. I'm your host, Rob, looking particularly either fat or swole today, depending on your opinion. And I'm joined by Mr. John S. Scrivens. Hey, sir.
It's not S, but yeah, sure, cool.
And
Hi, happy to be here. How are you, Rob?
Mr. Dayton. How am I today? Middling. I've been ill for a couple of days, but not super ill. And I don't want to get into it, but it's mainly involved a lot of farting. So, anyway.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
you're lactose intolerant.
Huh?
That's a condition.
Oh, I
What
like
if you just have that?
yeah, I don't know if that's it. Oh, Ziggy, what up? And also, Dayton, Mr. Dayton, no one can stop me now, Urbre.
It's the Dayton and Scrivo show.
So today we're just going to be hanging out and doing some hobby. I was kind of hoping that every Sunday we're basically just going to do some chilling nowadays. Because it's just nice to just hang out with the Twitch chat and talk amongst ourselves, is the plan. So if you are listening to the podcast, please do stay hydrated. But of course, don't try and chill a little bit. And also, if you're Sam Morgan's coffee barista, I don't know if you have to put coffee before barista. I just want to say a special thank you to you for downloading the show. Fan of the show, Mr. Sam Morgan. Smorgan. He was wearing on his Wargamer shirt, and he keeps wearing it when he goes and gets coffee in Australia. And his barista was like, "Hey, so I've seen your top, so I downloaded the show to give it a listen. I did not know what was going on."
I bet it was one of the Age of Sigmar Monday shows with the softcore squig porn.
Huh?
It was blatantly one of those fan fiction episodes. It had to be something that weird.
I'll have to ask to see if he still has his mustache too, because it is epic.
He doesn't. It's terrifyingly sad.
Dayton, how are you?
Good. No fire calls. We're good. We're
good. Good.
Knock on wood.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna say hello to everyone on the Twitch chat. Colonel Cabbage, what up? Dan Don't. Ziggy said what happened in Necromunda. We moved venue during that time. I was pretty certain. So it was just a fucking ball ache, to be honest. And I don't really. I think I just don't want to I don't want to play computer games. Computer games to me are my sin. I'm always like, oh my god, a brand new computer game, let's play it. And then 12 hours later, I'm like, this is why my life is in tatters. Do not do this again. Data keeps sending me games. What game did you send me the other day? And I was like, yeah, I won't play this. And then 8 hours later, I was like, fuck.
It's a good game.
It's a great game. It's called Dungeon
Darkness or something.
Dungeon Darkness. It's really, really fun, but super hard. And I quite like being the chef. Anyway.
Oh, the Dungeon Beneath.
Yeah, really good.
It's all 8-bit and really cool music.
Yeah, I get too carried away. So I'm just generally, for me personally, I'm just painting some stuff up, specifically some Marines, and getting ready to do terrain sometime soon. John, what have you been working on recently?
I've been working on some Drakari.
Ooh.
I've painted my Archon's cloak all green, because apparently he's only using orc flesh for his cloak because he's a bastard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just thought I'd go with the narrative, make my armies always against each other. So, and I'm doing the incubi and stuff, but doing them all glossy black armor with bone weapons to be a bit different. So they kind of look like evil Ulthway. But
have you been watching any tutorials, or are you just kind of going it solo?
I'm just winging it, really. It's kind of an excuse because there's no pressure of here's this set list and I'm doing it for an event. I'm just kind of let's give this a go. And for example, all the whips and stuff, I've given them electric pink color, so they look absolutely ghastly in contrast to the rest of them. Okay. And I think it's kind of fun, just kind of going, this is something I've not done before. It doesn't really look like any of my other kind of schemes, so mix it up a little bit.
Do you, Dayton, question to you as well, do you guys ever feel that, Twitch chat also question to you, do you guys ever feel okay, I'm going to paint this army now, I know what I kind of know what I want it to look like, but then you don't spend the 10-20 minutes probably that would save your life watching your tutorial, and then you just blast straight in? That's my system.
Sometimes. I knew what to do with the black armor because I've done a lot of Ravenwing for my Dark Angels, so I've kind of learned how to do that through fucking that up. So,
okay.
Yeah, I usually do a lot of pre-research.
Oh, do you?
Into what scheme I'm gonna do, but once the paint starts hitting it, I just go.
It's how do you start with your inspiration before you get to the pre-research? If that makes sense, is it just kind
Google.
of you've seen some Google?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just
I get an idea and then I'll just Google.
Yeah, you put the unit in and then go look at what other people have done.
Not the unit, the faction usually.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, yeah. I normally put the unit in actually, just like my entire Astra Militarum army is based on one paint scheme I saw for a unit of Bulgrins.
Yes.
Yeah.
But which Bulgrin unit, Rob? Which one specifically?
It's just a yellow and black one.
But you've got two units, haven't you? You've got the
Oh
two
no,
units.
no, the armor, the skin color was
Okay.
was an obvious choice, just to make myself very happy.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's going on Twitch chat? How the Twitch chat doing today? What's Dayton mug made of? It's magic and appears disappearing. Yeah, big shout out to Zeke in the chat. And seen you in a couple of days. Hope you're well. I spent way too much time getting the exact right shade for a new army. I have about 12 different browns from 3 different companies.
Yep.
That's way too serious. For me, anyway. Way too serious for me.
Friggin' Vince upped my hobby skills.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going through some of his older videos and using pink, like skin color, to grade up your colors for highlights instead of white. It's just like a much smoother blend. It's not so stark, maybe is the word. Sure.
I found a trick for white highlights as well, was using white acrylic ink rather than actual paint. So much easier. Once I started doing that, I was like, there's no clumps. This is amazing. Why did I not know this before?
Yeah, you should be using your inks for doing your Zenithal highlights as well.
Yeah. So I'm getting an airbrush hopefully for Christmas, so I'm going to try some of that stuff out as well.
What'd you get?
I don't know yet. Depends what Santa gets me.
May I recommend to Scriven's wife the Sotar 2020 is probably my favorite airbrush.
Sotar 2020. What's good about it?
The Watazaki.
The pieces aren't too small. It doesn't gunk up on me as much. I got the hell is it? I don't know. I got like another nice Patriot one, but it keeps messing up on me, so I just left it to the side. And then the Badger Patriot 105 is your workhorse. So like when you run primers or metallics and stuff, that's the one you use because it's very, very simple, easy to clean. Badger, yeah.
I haven't used. I've tried to use airbrushes several times, but they just seem to clog all the time. And I've watched some videos on it. It just seems stressful to me in some ways. Like because
once you get used to it. Once you get used to it.
Okay. Do you find it like I know it is quicker, I guess, but I also find it goes on very thin, so it's several coats, and it feels like it's about the same amount of time. If I'm 100% fucking honest with you.
Those are opening days, man. Wait until you get good. You can blast through things like nothing else. I have a buddy on our team who literally does all his painting through an airbrush. All his models. Like there's no edge highlights or anything because you can't do that. But it does have the gradients and the high points. And it actually looks decent. And he hammers out armies pretty quick.
But I don't know how you do the detail, right? Like, for example, right now I'm doing an intercessor, right? So I'm painting the gun pouch and leather pouches on the intercessors. You're not doing that with an airbrush.
Yeah, you can.
You can.
A fine enough needle, right?
Well, and do you have to then block off all the other areas?
Nope. Or be good with it. But I also have putty.
So you take time putting the putty on.
Yeah.
Spray it.
Yeah.
Wash your airbrush out like 43 times, like per pot. Yeah.
No, I wash at the end of the session, unless it's something really nasty that I put in there.
Well, but you have
do flushes.
Yeah, no, I've tried that too. I just end up with shit everywhere.
I have a big bottle of air cleaner. And then you just flush it through. You get most of it out, and then you put in your new color. Do a couple test squirts to make sure it's the color that you're at, and then work away.
I do that, and I do what Colonel Cameron suggested in the chat. I put thinner in before we get started. I put cleaner in before I get started. I've genuinely tried really hard.
Baking grease.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I spit and polish it on the outside, and I listen to Vietnam war songs at the same time. I just get this is my airbrush. They're rubbing it like it. Yeah. Oh, but this one's mine. It just doesn't work. It's the simple. For me, they're super good. Loads of people have really great results with it. But I really still think I'm improving. I'm using right now. I would just like to point out to everyone at home the Army Paint Wargamer paint monster brush. Yeah,
The monster, cool.
the monster one, and it's really, really good, really good. And then I've got, but I was using a Kolinsky one or whatever Henry Steele suggested.
One, yeah.
Yeah, but that was I've lost it. So in a room
I
I
think-
never leave. So
I've
I've
talked
been
with Badger reps
converted.
too,
Yeah.
and they're actually like a really good company.
who?
I was telling them Badger,
Oh yeah.
the airbrush company. I was chatting with them at LVO, and they're actually really nice people. And I was having issues of mine. I was explaining it to him, and he was like, "Oh, okay. Here." And he just reached behind me and gave me a new airbrush.
Oh really?
He's like, "Here, this will fix your problem." I'm like, "Yeah, well."
Nice.
Right. So what have you guys heard about? What you guys been excited about at the minute? There's a new Blood Angels Codex out. How do you both feel about that?
I'm a little bit kind of more Space Marines. Even as a Space Marine player, I'm like, I'd like there to be someone else getting some attention, but it is one of my local players that does Blood Angels. So I'm like, cool, he's getting his book. That's one of them ticked off the list that we can all just move on from.
If it was Dark Angels, John would be all over the place.
Yeah,
All
totally.
over the
I'd be
place.
just sitting here going,
So you're not bothered at all, do you think?
just not massively, because it's just like there's not. To me, it's just like cool. They've got some slight tweaks. Cool.
Okay. All right.
I'm excited for people that care for them, but
They've been toned around. I mean, their powers are easier to get off now, but the powers are less potent. Can't guarantee charges anymore. They still keep their Psychic Awakening +1 to their attacks on the assault phase. Sanguinary Guard went up, thankfully. I think they're 30 points a model now, so that's good. They got a lot of damage too. I think that's going to be the theme through everything. It's just everything's damage 2 now.
It kind of, it's kind of like a weird balance system, right? They put everyone up a wound. They're like, right, and also now +1 damage on everyone.
And meanwhile, Guard are like, fuck.
it now means that instead of there being either single damage guns or massive big guns, there's actually a need for the ones in the middle.
You do. It does create some variance, John. It's a good point I was going to bring up. It does mean that you do get to have because you damage 2 guns. Like, I'm not saying it makes guardsmen safe, because it's still a lot of damage 2 shots generally floating around. But those guardsmen are now like, you're like firing damage 2 guns at the guardsmen, and they're like, ha, lol, why am I here? Do you know what I mean? Like, each one is kind of like a pip of damage wasted. So I think that's, Gene Stealer Cult's another good example. Like, single wound models, kind of like, they're not any safer necessarily, but maybe you're paying for, like, a loss of efficiency against those armies, which is kind of interesting, right? Like, would you have necessarily sent some, like, in the narrative, would you have sent some Space Marines to land on whichever, planet is to kick the shit out of some guardsmen? Probably not. Like, it'd be fine. You just throw some other fucking guardsmen at them.
They were cultist guardsmen.
No, you send them to send, like, I mean, they just kick the shit out of the cultist guards, wouldn't they, as they left? Yeah, as they're, like, hunting down the demon princes and whatever. But yeah. So, I think that's actually good. Do you not think? Positive for the game?
Because before, if you were trying to model your army's weapons about dealing with something like Custodes, where they've got 3 wounds, averagely you probably didn't see that many multi-wound models in a Space Marine army. That's like kind of middle of 8th edition. Whilst now I think you'll see a lot more 3-wound stuff as well. So it kind of encourages you to think about that kind of your loadouts to counteract that. And I think the Drakari previews showed them having an extra wound on their sergeant, was it?
They've also got +1 damage on their melee weapons on the unit that we saw. So that's a positive. So they're again getting that +1 damage boost.
Yeah.
Which
so it feels like they're kind of bringing everything up to that sort of level. So there is that kind of, rather than it all being you've got a wound, so you're either dead or alive if you've been hit by something.
Yeah. Damage 3 is really big in the game now. More so. So like the Helverin's autocannons are awesome.
It's rareness? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like damage 3 is pretty hard to find, and it seems to be their magic number that they're saying this here is really hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So ironically, it gives you a reason to have a Redemptor Dreadnought with a plasma cannon now.
Why is that ironic?
Because a lot of people just kind of disregarded them for a while, and it's actually a place to get that sort of shooting from.
I think you've
listened
I think you've listened too much to Alanis Morissette, because it doesn't sound ironic. It just sounds
Shut up.
So
Shut up, Rob.
It's not the definition of ironic.
I'm just going to make up
It's
words.
an inconvenience at most.
It's at least surreptitious.
You
but
leave our
no-
Canadian Lasmore set alone, sir.
Fine. Whatever.
Right, can I just say a big
it's
shout out to Speckles in the chat, and
Yeah,
also
do we have to?
Tibbles. Hello,
Shout
Colonel
out to-
Cabbage, Scott B. I think Ziggy was saying that he's got super into playing Blood Bowl on the PC in 5 different leagues. Must be US based to lots of late night games. That's pretty fun over on TTS. And then there's the new rules. A big shout out to DJ Batman. Hope you're well. Jawooboon. Have you seen the Blood Bowl gossip at the moment? Have you seen the big drama in the Blood Bowl community? John, do you want to let us know what it is?
I don't know what it is. Is it the throwing stuff?
Oh my god! So they left. they in their main rulebook. If you guys have ever played Blood Bowl, a core mechanic of Blood Bowl is the re-roll per turn. You get access to a re-roll per turn. It's like I think
Coach's re-roll.
Yeah, isn't it even on your board? The amount of
It's
re-rolls
on
you
your,
get?
it's on your dugout.
Yes. Coach's re-rolls.
And they left it out of the main rules.
No way. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
days. I'd not heard that. That's
100%.
ridiculous. That's been there since the beginning.
It's going to make the games more stressful.
Oh no! Apparently
It's not intentional.
apparently it's not intentional. It was just a
It's
cleric.
on the dugouts they've printed in the second edition starter set.
Yeah, it's a
And
clerical
seasonal.
error. It's a clerical.
Fucking
So they left it out of the main rule book, which is whoa.
Was it a clerical error to only make one Christmas battle box for everyone too?
They didn't make it for everyone, did they? Oh, you mean
Well, for
as in
the factions?
amount?
No, they
That's
did
in,
2
they
space
sold
marines.
out right away.
Have they sold out already?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
every one of them's gone except the guard one.
Because that's a reprint, really.
Wow.
Everyone's complaining that it's bots buying them to scalp them. It's GW just doesn't make enough every time.
It does not make enough every time. There's a genuine supply issue at the minute, isn't there, from GW? I think, which is
Yeah, I
fascinating.
heard it's a lot of it is the reboxing everything for 9th edition. It's been
And
screwing them up.
apparently there was 2 solid weeks of them doing the Indomitus reprints for the people that got them
Yeah.
recently. So that will have just been like, cool, we're not producing anything that we're running out of. And that is not helpful. So they're making their own mess
Well, I mean,
and then
no, but
fixing it
that's-
and making their mess again.
No, but they haven't made any mess. Like, they haven't made any fix. That's not a good argument. They're not like,
No,
well,
I'm not
actually,
saying it's a good argument.
they
It's
did
more
a
that-
good guy thing and reprinted Indomitus, but also, by the
Yeah,
way,
they
they
made
fucked their
Yeah.
global supply chain.
Exactly.
I heard they hired like 18 more customer service reps to help with all the complaints that they're getting because they only had 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's what I
And-
heard.
Because the Australian deliveries are only going in via
Cheap.
Sydney. Rather, it's through just one port now. So that's why they're getting a bottleneck as well. So it doesn't matter how much they send; it's
Do they
all
get to
going in through.
Do they get to send them over the big dust roads, though, in the giant trucks? Because those are fucking cool. Have you watched that? Outback truckers.
I always imagined they would look like the trucks off of Mad Max.
Yeah, I knew you
Yeah,
would say-
with the flamethrowers and stuff and all these giant
They-
spiders attacking them.
They don't. They look like a racist dad is driving like a real beat up ute, is what they really look like. It's just super sad. You know, like, it's great, personally. Like, I love watching it, but, you know, you probably never want to have a pint with a guy and ask him how he feels about women or something.
I'll give Australia a little bit of credit, though, and say that they do have a great anti-fascism regime there. Like that one young kid that egged that prime minister.
Egg boy?
Or yeah,
Oh,
the egg boy.
He's a hero.
Fucking
Yeah, that's great.
love Egg Boy. Yeah. It's true. They've got tall grass syndrome as well, haven't they? Like, anyone gets too big for their britches, they cut them down a little bit. It's a general like Australian vibe, which I'm big into. I think it's a good little feeling to have. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I didn't know they sold out the battle boxes. I didn't even know they got on pre-order. They must have been yesterday or today. No,
Blood
yesterday.
Angels,
Yeah.
the new tank, and the battle boxes.
Yeah.
Oh, the dice are sold out too.
Because
what,
they're
the Blood
actually
Angel
quite
dice?
normal looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
All the
whatever.
pips are blood drips, so it's actually quite readable, which is weird for Games Workshop. Still 2 symbols though: a skull on the one. And
There was some
Blood
big
Angels
news
in
about.
one
Wasn't there some big news about the Blood Angels Codex released before their? So it's now like on pre-order, which means all men who read book are currently reading book and living their best lives,
Yeah.
getting them clicks and views. But it leaked before even then, didn't it? Which is fairly new. Like, everything else was okay, I guess. Like
it looked like photos had been taken to share with a fellow friend on a channel, so that they could kind of do their work in advance for that release day.
Oh.
That's what I get the impression on it. That's my gut feeling. I've got no actual reliable information to state that, but it looks like they're kind of like, we've got one copy, let's send it to each other so we can all like prep for this. And
But
then
John,
it
sounds like you do know, and now we need to know what you know. John.
That's all I know. It's just based on the photos.
You can't handle the
making an educated
truth.
Guess.
John.
Yeah.
Tell us, John, what do you know? Who is it? Who was it, John? Out them now. Out them.
I don't know. I really don't know, Rob. I look at them and go, they look like the sort of photos I'd send someone if I was opening a book early.
He doesn't want to roleplay.
And also, because I don't want to get anyone in trouble by guessing.
Tall poppy, not tall grass. I'm sure it's tall grass syndrome. Maybe it's tall whatever. Okay. Just so John did it. John, did you do it?
Yeah, I leaked the Blood Angels Codex.
It looks like
the joke is, yeah, that's the problem.
Is anyone getting advanced copies of things yet?
Yeah.
Well, us. Dayton, is this what you're working towards? Just so somehow, if you get advanced copies, maybe they'll arrive to you at normal times up in the mountains.
No. I got a sponsorship for like 5% off of Mini Mag trays, and I'm pretty stoked about that. So that's the world I'm playing in right now.
Good work, buddy.
So you know the Blood Bowl box sold out within minutes as well.
Wait, that sold out as well?
They sold out review. They gave away so many copies of that for reviewers as well. It was ridiculous.
So the same thing as Adonis.
Yeah. Same problem where they're
it's like they didn't learn.
Why not just sell them all instead?
Oh, can I just say a big shout out to Walter Falter for donating £2.29 on YouTube with the comment, a microphone. Thanks, bud. I really appreciate that. That's lovely of you. JP Stevens, what do you guys think was the best value Xbox box between the two systems?
Depends if you can buy one of them.
I mean, yeah. You got any thoughts? Also, big shout out, JP. Hope you're well.
I would say don't waste your time on computer game consoles because they'll suck your soul away and you'll never have any time to do anything fun.
Everyone I know has got the PlayStation and they're loving it.
Talking about, so he said the battle box. Are you talking about the computers?
I'm reading them wrong. Someone's asking. What do you guys think about the best value Xbox?
Xmas box between the two systems. Fuck me.
Oh, man. I find that most of these boxes.
I'm from Canada, and they say I'm a little slow, eh?
I feel those boxes still feel like boxes that only make sense if you're wanting to start a project of that army, because it's a lot of the core stuff you'd already have, like the Chaos Space Marines. I've looked at that now and I've gone,
oh, that is great.
I could have got
that
box because I don't have any Chaos Space Marines.
It's a good box.
I feel the Necron, the Chaos Space Marines, and the Tyranid one are all good.
There's a question for you, John, in the chat. Did the copies of Blood Bowl you got for the store come with a beta code? Looks like in the US, if you didn't order from Games Workshop, you didn't get the code. What the fuck is a beta code?
So what they've done for Cyanide's game, Blood Bowl 3, if you bought a copy through Games Workshop, you get, like they often do, they throw something in to encourage that direct market, the direct sale. So yeah, we didn't get them either, because why would they? They do that every time. They're like, here's a new book, but if you pre-order from us, you get these cool coins or this bit of artwork that cost us 3p. It's like
coasters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the coasters from Bugman's that we've not been able to use for the year.
So I got a point about the battle boxes, actually, like, just to nip back to them, because Primark, big love to you. Also, Squeaky Chair, Grenaldi, I'm so happy to see you all. Scott B, I see you. One of the things about the battle boxes that I think is quite interesting, or at least maybe this is my personal journey with the hobby, so, like, maybe this isn't where other people are at, but this is just for me, is I'm really uninterested in a box of models unless it's 100% going to be something I'm putting into an army. Like, all of it. Like, yeah, it would have been cool to have some Trogoths and Squigs, but I'm not building that army, and that army is competitively pretty mediocre at the minute. So it's not of interest to me in any shape or form. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and also, there's no news of a new battle tome coming out, so I've got no idea. Guard are old models, so like throw that in the bin. Tower underperforming, so not tempted to get that. And also, again, it's a box of stuff, which is cool.
The Gargant.
Yeah, the Gargan. I mean, I really didn't mind the ogre one. I thought the ogre one was actually pretty cool. But like, you know, one of the big selling points in there is the tyrant on foot, and I wouldn't take that tyrant on foot. Like, I just wouldn't. So, like, unless it's like 100% like effectiveness, I'm not really gonna probably like spend the money, even with the discount. Like, what am I? I've got I'm painting up Marines from the launch of 8th. Like,
Maybe that's showing the fatigue that you're finally like, cool, I don't need to buy new stuff. I've got enough shit to be getting on with.
no, that's been me for like, you know, when I started like playing an army for a year. Do you remember when I was saying that I'm just going to play one army for a year, which I did do. I'm someone who's very scatty. Like, I'm very much like Darren. Like, I'll jump between armies all the time. Yes. I'll jump between armies all the time. I'll jump between lists. I'll get excited by literally everything. I'll be like, oh, I'll do this. Oh, no, I'll do that. Like, and as soon as I see new rule, I'm like, yeah, let's do that. You know, like, even now, you're talking with Blood Angels out, and I'm like, I kind of always wanted to run Sanguinary Guard ever since we did a rundown on them. Like, in my head. And then I'm like, Rob, don't fucking do it. You still got your, like, Death Guard to finish. Like, and so, for me, one of my personal hobby journeys over the past few years was playing an army for a year and sticking with it, and then hobbying in the background. And I think I've managed to like unfuck myself. I still get all the urges, but I don't act upon them. If that
do you
makes
have like
sense.
a cool off period where you go, right, I'll sleep on that. If I still want to buy that tomorrow, I'll consider it again. And then you just wake up like, cool, don't even want that.
No, it has to be 100% applicable. Like, it has to be like, I'm taking that to a tournament, which I guess why at the moment, like I'm rebasing my Seraphon, for example. Like, if there was a tournament around the corner, like, it's an army I've got that I could pick up and go and do okay with. If that was my intent to play at the tournament, if that makes sense. So, like, I've managed to, like, get myself off that, well, at least reacting to the urge. So those battle boxes don't really do anything for me. Like, I get it that they're a good deal, but, like, it's a fucking ton of time to get armies onto the tabletop. Like, how many... I got a question for you, actually. Oh, Wargaming Dad, thanks for subscribing. Loads of love. Also, Ziggy, thanks for subscribing and for giving a fucking Tibble's Evil Cat a fucking subscription. I'm going to get my nipples out for Tibble's Evil Cat later. And then
please don't.
And then I'm going to ring Ziggy. That's going to be my day. Oh, thanks for following, Crimson Dad. So I've got a question for you. Honestly, Dayton, I'll ask you first. How many armies do you own, and how many are playable at a tournament right now?
3 40k armies, Necron, Death Guard, and Tau. All of them are playable. And Age of Sigmar, I got Night Haunt, Daughters of Cain, Flesh Eater Courts, and 2 of those are playable.
So 50% of those.
75%.
75%. Okay, that's really pretty good. Now, yeah, here we go, chat. Look at everyone in the chat like, don't ask me this question. John's there, just fucking panicking. He's like, don't you ask me.
His beard is getting whiter as we talk.
He's like, please don't answer. See, that's really good, Dayton, I think. Like, how do you do you generally get the urges, John? Start working out in your head. I'm coming back to you.
I've worked it out, don't worry. It's
okay.
fine.
Dayton, do you ever get like the urges like to just jump into the new army, or like are you much more like methodical on that process?
Yeah, I bought some things that I probably are still in packages for sure. And I'm doing something right now actually I've never really done before, and that's repaint an army.
Okay.
I've done. So I'm redoing all my Necrons.
Wow.
Because that was like the first army I painted, and I don't like where it's at to where I'm at now. Mm-hmm. And now that they're current again, I've gone back and I'm redoing them all.
Was that more you did like the classic silver spray job?
No, it's actually funny. I did like a ceramic, like a bone ceramic Necron army. But now I'm going back to doing the metal.
Oh, really?
Look. Yeah.
It's fascinating. Is that just because you want them to look different, or you think that like?
Yeah, I want them to look like really weathered and beat up and.
Okay. All right. Super fair. Yeah. Okay. Well, you've done really well there, if you think about it. Like, I think once we ask this question of the Twitch chat and everyone else, ooh, baby. John, where are you at in that process?
So I have 16,000 points of orcs, of which 9,000 points are painted, which means I've got quite a few options to have a playable army there.
Hey, not the question I asked though, is it?
And then I've got Dark Angels, fully tournament worthy, so that's 2.
Okay.
And that is it for. And then my Custodes. So I've got 3 of my kind of 40k armies that are completely playable, especially for a tournament,
Mm-hmm.
with lots of options. I've got a guard army half built and half painted, and my Drakari, which I've only just started bits of. And then for Age of Sigmar, I've just never got anywhere with stuff. So I've got some Sylvaneth. I've got my Squig army, which is literally half painted because I lost interest after being stomped with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got a Skaven army that I started at the beginning of lockdown and went, cool, I'll get this done. They're all painted brown.
Okay.
You know what's funny? I have a Sylvaneth painted army too, but I've just completely erased it from my memory. I forgot.
Yeah, I had to think about it. I was like, does that count? Because it was literally, I was like, I'm going to get into Age of Sigmar. And then I looked into the army after I'd actually bought some bits and went, oh, these are actually quite dull to play. Oh.
I mean, it's
and that was when they were good at the time. Well, playable.
I personally would certainly tempted to take Sylvaneth on the tournament if a tournament's happened again. The entire team just being like, "You're damaging the planet, man!" for like 2.5 hours, like really getting someone's head.
Just wear a t-shirt with Greta's face.
Greta, yeah.
That was
Right,
regrettable.
Yeah, right. Let me see what everyone else is doing. So JP's got Deepkin, Slanesh, Lumineth, and all 3 armies I currently have, and I assume he means playable as well. Also, very elven JP. Best thing I ever did from Speckles was stick to a single faction. Only death stops me buying loads, and all of it, and I can mix and match together some way or another, says Speckles. So yeah, Grand Alliance stuff, especially for Age of Sigmar, is particularly effective, which I think is really good. Also, 40k weird spot from where it was to where it is. Obviously, you had like a guard battalion, not a guard battalion or a guard detachment, and then maybe a marine one or a knight one. So now you've got kind of now they're very being given so many bonuses to mono faction up that you really do see. I think you can see a lot more mono faction armies, which means people are going to be like, oh, I've got 25% of this other army. It's oh fuck. Whereas Age of Sigmar has got a pretty cohesive amount of swap in between in some cases. Cities of Sigmar is a good example. But Chaos is a very, very good example. You could paint up 15 Chaos Knights as an example. Just give them a neutral-ish paint scheme, and they're applicable in 5 armies. Just fucking, and then a shit ton of sub-factions. But 5 actual factions. So that's
Death is the same too, right?
Yeah, Death is also really good.
I've got Beasts of Chaos start collecting as well. That I've had for almost a year. That I was like, one day I'll build them.
Hey John, why don't you turn off your background screen so we can see your fucking cluttered room?
No, I'm not allowed to because I'll probably get divorced if I turn off the background. I've been told to leave it on for that purpose.
Let me see how everyone in the chat's doing. Ziggy's got 8 and 1. I had a wife-enforced purge a few years ago. I think 8 and 1 after a wife-enforced purge is good. That's pretty. Wargaming Dad says my DOK and playable corn and cities are okay, but no shooting armies, so don't use them locally. Oh, okay. Right. So then, Dark Design says 40k I have everything but Tower and Custodies. Wow, everything but Tower and Custodies.
Wow.
But I can field a battle ready 2,000 point
He
army.
bought a Christmas battle box.
Yeah, he bought at least one
every year.
Yeah. Oh, Jabs, thanks for subscribing, bub. I can field a battle-ready 2,000 point army for 5, maybe 6 of them. I mean, six armies on the tabletop's pretty impressive. Like being able to have 6. Captain Andrews, Slave Starting, Skaven, Rotbringer, Nurgle Demons, Chaos Space Marines. 3 are tournament ready. Others are work in progress. 3 still good. Dark Design, I have AOS. I have 8. I can field 5. Wow, Dark Design does not stop painting. That's impressive. Tywin says, "Lol, this is a gut check, and I don't like it."
Yeah. So this year I've been trying my hardest. So if I'm painting something new, the next thing I'll paint will be something that's been sat there. So I'll slowly going through a load of old Terminator stuff just to get them finally done. So it's kind of pushing the progress at least.
Yeah. I think working towards a goal is super useful as well. One of the reasons I have so many Mechanicum units is there was a battle box 4 or 5 years ago, or maybe 4 years ago, and it just was a fucking deal. You just got so much. I think it was Games Workshops at the time, and I was like, I was going to buy 2 of these. This is fucking ridiculous.
That's like the Indominus box set.
Yeah, like the Indomitus box. Yeah, but then you end up with just I don't need, Reanimators aren't even, well, as far as I understand, Reanimators aren't great. Yeah, inside.
If you're playing against something that can't shoot them, they're fucking broken.
Okay, perfect. All right.
You can turn them into spiders.
Okay, but my point is, do you know my point is the same? A lot of people have stood there with 3 Reanimators, what the fuck? Oh, this guy. the Space Marine captain in Gravis armor. Yeah, I think
Yep.
he's probably like on as many bases as something standing on as he's stood on an actual base, like used in a game. Because when has he ever been in a game? Do you know what I mean? like he's everywhere in the world, but no one fucking needs him.
He's in every display cabinet.
Yeah. Oh, Dr. Numian, thanks for subscribing. First time. Welcome to the team.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, I'm sorry that I'm your first introduction to the show.
I mean,
And
to
you're
be honest,
welcome.
I mean, who's a good first introduction? Like, imagine tuning in and
James.
like they're like, oh, these guys seem fun. I'll listen to them talk about Warhammer, and they're like, and the ice giants in Antarctica steal all the Nazi gold. It's like,
What the hell is this Nathan guy talking about?
what is
The
this guy?
Serengeti.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to
Fucking
say, Rob,
Limpopo.
I've a kind of an adjacent one. I watched Queen's Gambit.
Right?
I get it now.
Did it give you the big Warhammer vibes?
Yeah, it also made me realise that maybe you shouldn't play Warhammer when you're drunk.
No, it
What?
taught me that I
You
should take
take
loads
that
of
back,
drugs.
John.
Yeah, John. You shut the fuck up.
That party at the All Points for nothing.
Yeah. You haven't seen Tibble's Evil Cat at a tournament round 3. He barely can stand.
Perfect.
I haven't seen Jacob Berry underneath a table eating
Eating
dice.
dice. Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, jeez.
I have 4 of those Indomitus Necron sides and 4 too many reanimators, says Boy Again My Child.
Turn them into spiders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lofthammer, big love to you. I've got 19 AOS, 140k, only 3 armies are playable.
Fucking hell. That's ridiculous.
I still use the OG Gravis Captain. Oh, fuck. Okay. I mean, he's a cool model. He is a fucking
He's
cool model.
good now.
Having
he good
toughness 5 on a
Yeah.
captain is solid as.
Okay.
And yeah, you put 2 warlord traits on him, you get him toughness 8. I
Yeah.
believe.
Fuck yeah. Well, I've got
'Cause you-
one.
You can give him Iron Resolve. The Imperium Sword often can be used on him, I've seen. It's nasty.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good.
Dayton is the best intro to the show, says Ziggy. Love you, Dayton.
Love you, Ziggy.
Scott B, I've got 3,000
Ziggy.
points of Deepkin, 1,300 points of Gene Stealer Corps, and 1,000 of Marines, I think. Okay, yeah, you're getting there. You're getting there.
Those
Hey,
Gene Stealer cults.
Huh?
Those Gene Stealer cults. They're going to be scary.
I know.
Uh,
That's a lot.
One day.
Hater HTK New York, big love to you. Big Goldfish Knights, he's got 4,000 points. Orcs 4EK 3,000. Fire Stays 2,000. Gets 2,000. Orcs OS 3,000. Mechanicum 4,000. Night Lords 30,000. 4 Night Lords 30k 4,000. That took me so long to type. You've gone past the point. Is any of it playable? That's the real question. Armies I've owned since the start of 8th. Several Marines, Chaos Marines, Necrons, Custodians, Tyrannies, Death Guard, Deathwatch, Eldar, Stormcast, Lumineth, Khorne / Demons. And the question is, oh, a GC of course this is a battle, but have you, like, that's my point. Sorry. I know this has been a long, winded point
Yeah.
about what I was saying, but
Only
like, does
honest wargamers? Shush.
Oh.
the long-winded wargamer, that's my new name. That's my going to be name next week. Long-winded Rob. But that's my point about the battle boxes. I don't think any of them are necessarily a bargain if you still haven't finished the project you're on, right?
Yeah.
It's because we had Sinise on the show, like episode 70 or something, and what he said on the show really, really sung home to me. Actually, like, I know COVID's been horrible, but we've had some like amazing human beings on the show making some very solid points, which have helped me grow as a person. And one of those was simply like, it's the difference between pleasure and contentedness. Like, yeah, when you buy a new box, you're like, ooh, you get the little jingle, and then it's done. Like, and then you've just got a fucking big pile of shit that you got to work through. And like, actually finishing the army off and getting the army done should really be the goal. That's mine. That's the thing I've been doing over lockdown anyway.
I get Will in my ears like every night, and I just want to say, Will, I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you.
Mm.
He's a wise man.
He is a wise man.
'Cause
Also
my
angry
takeaway
as
from
fuck,
that
which I love.
was similar.
Yeah.
So my cabinet has my Dark Angels in, and as I finish something, I put it in there, and it's become more and more full. And it's that whole thing. I now look at it and go, I've made progress, and it's nice to have that, right? That you can kind of look at it and go, that's the thing.
It's true. That's true. Tupavko's, I don't know if I said that right. Tupavko's Madness says, I own 20,000 points of an unplayable army since Warhammer Fantasy 5th edition. Beastmen and only Beastmen. My hobby is fueled by frustration and hate. You can play Beastmen now. You can play Beastmen. Beastmen's a
Can
playable
you, though?
army. I mean, you can't play. I mean, yeah. I mean, all the alpha beasts think that they're like. I don't know if you've been in the the Beastmen WhatsApp chat. It's so funny. It's like they completely ignore reality. Like they just completely ignore it. They're like, "What units are good?" They're all like, "Yeah, try these out. Try these out." Like, "Yeah, let's go." And then they're like, "Yeah, we went 0 and 5." Or like, we're 1 and 4. They're like, "Fucking, it'd be so rubbish to be an overpowered book, though, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be rubbish to be a strong book? Yeah, we're much stronger where we are. Like, we're much."
That sounds like the Gits chat where when Nathan did well at an event, they're literally like, "He is our king now. Who's this Donal guy?" And they're literally just celebrating the success of like one
A
situation.
one-dayer.
Was it? Yeah, didn't there like a Gits win a GT? There was that one time, like
yeah, it was
squid.
Nathan
It was a
recently.
squid list,
Oh, Nick Thompson
like 2
back
years
in the
ago
day.
or something. Yeah,
Yeah, Nick Thompson.
And it was just like the world fell apart. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was also like a battle tome.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of squigs. It was amazing. Also, obviously,
Yeah.
Donal once did 192 damage with 1 grot, which was not okay.
Never to be forgotten.
And that's why they nerfed the book. It's 100% Donal's fault. The book's that bad.
Isn't he not allowed back to play Gits?
He plays them all the time. He's like, netters, -1 to hit. Just want everyone to be aware. -1 to hit. I think it's a shame, especially some books have languished for so long, especially in Age of Sigmar, like Beastman, Nighthaunt. They have languished for a long time, which is very, very upsetting. So hopefully they'll get some really good stuff in the new Broken Realms things, but they haven't.
Not yet, at least. But
I gotta hope. Sylvaneth for sure. They gotta get something.
Yes, agreed. Tywin says you should do this subject every 3 months and have a spreadsheet of people in the chat that you can randomly roast us like, fuck you, how's that Bone Reaper's army doing yet, you fucking noob? I think all that would encourage is people not coming back to the show.
Yeah, that's not what we want. We want more people in the chat, not less.
Well, no, do you know what, John? Maybe what he's saying is we only want fucking heroes in the chat, not cowards who won't pay their army. Maybe that's...
Oh, all right, okay.
My team, that's what we do every New Year's. We make resolutions, what we want to get done in the year, and then we check back every once in a while. Make sure we're still on task.
Do you find that they work?
I feel like most of the people have gotten pretty good about it. I think I did mine. Yeah. Age of Sigmar, I need an Age of Sigmar playable army, painted army for the season. I got that done in 13 days. And then
2021.
This one. I got to play in one tournament before things shut down. Thank you, John.
Yeah, he did. He did. I mean, I'm jealous. There's a 2-day Australian event happening right now in Australia, right?
Yeah, it's more
Canberra, isn't it?
Very jelly. Very jelly. I wish I was there. That would be super fun. But soon. I got really sad about it.
Imagine living in a country that handled the pandemic well. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Stop it.
Oh, we're right there too. Our numbers are stupid.
It's all right, Dayton.
I'm trying to get my schooling done before it closes.
On Wednesday, I get to go to work, but I'm still not allowed to play Warhammer. So I'm allowed to mingle with strangers.
You're essential, John.
You're essential, John. How will wags get their little kids happy into... Also, just... John, you know when you... Like, come on. Look, you love Warhammer, right? You know when they come in the shop... No, listen. You know when they come in the shop to pick up some... Because, just for context, everyone, John works in a toy shop. Manages, owns, and runs, or whatever. Like, just to give him...
A leaky toy shop.
Yeah, it
doesn't leak anymore.
It's classic. Wherever Honest Wargamer people go, John, there's a leak. So just live with it. Do you know when they come in, they're like, we want some Yu-Gi-Oh cards or some Beyblades or whatever it is you sell nowadays, right? Do you not just like immediately just be like, yeah, that's not really the thing at the moment, and just push them towards the Warhammer? Are you like personally just like getting them in?
So what happens often is like parents will come and go, well, we want to get our son something that he's not playing Fortnite every night, and it needs to be something that he can do, something maybe arts and crafting. I'm like, well, I've got this game. It's called Warhammer. It's not very expensive, and just it's always the lead in that they go, oh, it's something he doesn't then play a computer game, and it just seems to be this big point for parents not to be playing computer games or tablet stuff. So it's quite an easy one to actually throw at people. And ironically, those starter sets that they did for 8th edition were a really easy sell that you go, here's the paints, here's the box, 50 quid, you're all in. Now it's 60 quid because they're twats.
Which is like 300 Canadian.
Yeah, it's a lot to spend on your kid, I guess.
Not around here. This is the commuter belt of London, so people are like, cool, we've got money and mansions. And I'm like, cool. But you're still buying it from Amazon.
I mean, it just feels like it's a lot. Like, ultimately, for how long? It depends. Like, I completely... I can't understand the pricing, but I feel like the pricing, at least, you can have a conversation about it, like, when you're an adult. Because you're like, I'm going to spend dozens, hundreds of hours for this for this money. For the price of, like, sometimes, like, a meal out. You know what I mean? Like, it's a pretty good investment, money to time, ultimately. But
that was my reasoning to my wife.
Yeah. Does it work?
It's like, it shows how little I know about computer games as well. I saw the Assassin's Creed game is like 60 quid now to buy. I was like, I'm so kind of not a clue how much computer games cost. So it's actually quite comparative cost-wise. If you're buying a computer game a month, if you spend that on that, it's similar.
That's why I get into like all the indie games.
How come?
Just because they're cheap and it's people trying to make a good product with very little.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of the unique experiences. The same way as like I watch anime for that reason. I'm going to get stories that mainstream is never going to run with, right?
Yeah. Like, I not to bring it up, I don't want to go, I don't want to like get into this conversation too deeply, but I was reading something earlier this morning about Star Wars, and that is one of my problems with like the Star Wars franchise, the new trilogy, for example. Is you have all the money in the world to make something entertaining. Like when you buy like, I don't know, the latest like AAA game, I don't know, the new Assassin's Creed, it should like blow your socks off because it's like, it's the top dollar prize. Yeah, like it's the one. Whereas like, if you look at things like Among Us that's done so well, it was just like an indie dev team and they really understood that what they're trying to do is make you have a good time. And like there's that
tell
quality.
A story they get engaged with.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's that simple. And I think maybe that's one of the things that's so attractive about Warhammer is not only is there the story that you're trying to tell with the army that you create, there's what the other people are trying to tell. And then there's also like the tournament, there's the social scene, which are all just stories that are occurring. And I think that's like there's the inherent magic factor, which has got a lot less to do with like the core mechanic rules that come out from Games Workshop. If that makes sense, there's a lot of onus on us as creatives to be creative, which I think is a positive, personally.
Yes, we are making the hobby good.
Yeah.
And,
not
and there's
GW.
And there's different elements of the hobby that people lean into at the end of the day. It's like you get people that just want to paint the stuff, and that is part of the hobby at the end of the day.
Yeah. Crazy Horse, I'm glad you like the Stormcast image. Also, thanks for saying I look buff today. I'm just wearing a small t-shirt. That is my... Although I have been doing push-ups, but it's a different kettle of fish. So I'm trying to look... Yeah, that's it. I'm trying to... Well, when we get back to doing coverage, I don't want to be the fat lad, like, next to the other commentators. I'm just saying. Like, presentation's a thing. I've got to, like, I can't be, like, doing the commentary and they're like, oh, that fucking guy. He looks atrocious.
How many packets of Frazzles then, Robert, a day is it?
No, I've given up Frazzles.
Good, because that was a problem I could see coming from a mile away.
I found a new store.
At some point, you're going to get my package, and you're going to get Canadian treats, and you better eat them all.
I will eat them all. Don't you worry about it. I will eat them all. It's just, like, I found a store locally that did jumbo packs of Frazzles for £1. Oh, my God. Man. I think my toilet smelled like bacon. It's now I'm learning how to play shogi, Japanese chess, so I can beat some homeless guy at it to win some rare insects, so I can craft super weapons and skirt or cabbage. That's a no context. That's a no context thing that I'm reading out. Yeah, I'm not going to read out the context. There is context for that, but that's the sentence. Yeah, man, all the ladies in the chat. And it's not about the ladies, just trying to be like, I also will feel healthier and happier if I'm like,
to be fair, if you do get larger and out of shape, though, you are representing the hobby well.
Yeah.
No, because we should all be trying to encourage each other to be healthier and better, right?
I encourage people to be happy with where they're at.
Same. So do I. But I want you all to live as long as possible. So go outside for a
tubby
walk at
bitches.
least. Yeah, you tubby bitch. Get outside and go. John, have you been for a walk today?
Not today. I went for 2 walks this week, and I'm going back to the gym on Wednesday, so screw you. Don't judge me.
I'm not judging. There's no judgment. There's love. There's love. There's encouraging love is what's happening.
I'm judging you, John. I always judge you.
Yeah, I know you do. It always arouses me a little bit. It's a bit weird, Dayton, I've got to admit.
I don't know where I wanted to kill John, but it happened at one episode, and now I have to stick with it.
You do.
I know, right?
Do. I can't wait
Which
for
is why I always have to swear in the chat at you.
I want to get James on the show one time, so you can just like make him feel really uncomfortable sexually. Ooh, baby.
It doesn't take much.
Today I don't wear a top or underwear.
And be like, I need undergarments right now.
Did you guys see that? Is it Chimphammer? Chimphammer, if he's in the chat, I don't think he is. He might be listening to the podcast. There was that's what it's saying. Bullying. Thanks in turn, Matt. Listen, you gotta do some mental gymnastics sometimes. James, someone a lovely lady on Twitter who I think does nude cosplay as well as Warhammer, which is super okay. Available on her OnlyFans. Wrote on Twitter recently, she's like, is there any Warhammer erotica? And someone tagged James in the post. And James was like, fuck yes. Yeah, right, send me it now. And now, like, I need to ask you guys if you think this is okay. How would you feel if I was to approach, like, because there are quite a few, like, nudie lady, I don't know what the terms are. Nudie ladies who do Warhammer also.
Women.
Yeah. Like, I'm not sure what the correct vernacular is. If I was to ask them to make us like some ad break stuff, but it was really ad break stuff for them. I was like, could you read on Warhammer erotica then? It
feels like a lads magazine sort of thing.
Yeah, it would. Which is why I haven't done it. But it wouldn't be because like I found it titillating. It's because the irony would make me fucking cry.
I just feel really uncomfortable, and I think that means it's a good thing. Because if I'm uncomfortable, it normally means it's a funny thing.
Okay, all right. Well, then I'll do that. I'd also do one for like Nathan being nude as well. That would also be.
Oh, please don't. I've seen that once. That's enough. I've seen enough Biltong in my life.
Oh my god. That was a random thought that popped up in my head. I was like, yeah, reach out, like ask her to make a video, play it in like now to our commercial break.
It'll be a huge hit in the Tau group.
But I'm not going to do that. But it was a thought that I had, so I just thought I'd share it with you all.
Imagine if Man Who Reads Book was just from the perspective of a woman, and it's just you could see the boobs as well. People would not be paying attention to that book.
That would make fucking money, though, John.
I know that's what's massive. Disgusting, right?
Like Squeaky Chair says, just a scantily clad woman reading the new Space Marine Codex. You'd be fucking making bank.
That's what I mean. Like I was talking beforehand. You want to look at who's the high viewers in Twitch? It's the ladies.
The ladies. Yeah. To be fair, though, they're not really there for games. Yeah. Anyway, we don't need to carry on in this conversation, but it was a worthwhile chat, I thought.
Mm-hmm. So a whole tournament streamed where everyone's wearing bikinis.
Like Ringo, like I never understood it. So I used to like you guys may know I was a doorman back in the day. So I used to do security for Sky Sports, like backstage security. And we went to like there was like a load of boxing matches, darts, all sorts of things. But the boxing matches were the funniest ones, right? Because there'd be these two lads about to like beat the living fuck out of each other, and then like a lady in a bikini just walk around. She would get
holding up a sign saying "Priority roll."
Yeah, but she'd get the most cheers of the day every time, like every fucking time. And I loved it. I was like, brilliant. This is hilarious. Anyway.
They're called cheerleaders.
Infield reporters of bikini-clad ladies. See, that would work.
Just give Tom Layton a bikini. Job done.
I mean, if you ever see me in a tournament, I'm usually in a thong anyway, or a speedo.
That works for me. That's
my thing. I like making people feel a little weird, just a little bit. And that's how I got to meet John Cryer's mom.
Oh, you met her mom?
Oh, yeah. She's great. Lovely lady. At LVO. I was walking around in like gold, like neoprene, super tight, conceal my veins kind of shorts.
Yeah.
And she was talking to Joe. She's like, have you seen this man wearing these gold shorts? And he was like, oh, yes, Mom. Here, come with me.
Big shout out to Joe Cryer's mom in the chat.
Yeah,
and
always.
In fact, do you know what? big shout out to everyone's mum in the chat. That's what we'll do. All of you, all the Warhammer players' mums, because they must be concerned about their sons. Let's be honest.
Why are they talking to their little toy soldiers again?
She was talking to me, and she's just like, "Yeah, I've been supporting Joe since he was young. He's been really into the hobby, and we just think it's great." She's just a lovely woman.
Okay, well, see, now there's an interview series. Wargamers' mums.
That's the 40k adjacent show.
That would be
adjacent.
so-
Hey, you had my dad on. You don't need my mom as well.
That's true. That's true. I would be so into that. That would be so fucking funny. Rob would be having so much sex. Fuck you, intern Matt. Is that an old joke? What a twat. Oh, dear me.
You'd be like my Facebook ads all the time.
So, you're looking to meet local mums?
Yeah.
My mum would all be like, well, at least it's not heroin.
So, Blood Angels. How are they?
Yeah, how they? I'm
like
just trying to
Blood
like
Angels?
work at where Warhammer's at in this convo, but nowhere. I think is the truth. A
The
Mother's Day
Canadian
special.
dilemma.
Yeah, let's do a Mother's Day special. That'd be so fun. When is Mother's Day?
Depends which country you're in.
Oh, does it?
Really?
I think so. Isn't the American Mother's Day and Father's Day on like different days?
I don't know.
Because they're weird.
To
Probably something to do
England.
with tea bags.
To England
to-
or like to the world.
I have no information in my head other than what I have in school and 40k and
So
Age of Sigmar.
20th of June is Father's Day. Mother's Day.
Can I just say that the very best point that's been made in the chat so far is by Cap and Andrew, who, based on me and Mam Dad are both like, we've got a load of armies, we're trying to get them sorted. It's like, why isn't John painting? Yeah, John, every opportunity to paint, brother. Every opportunity, get them done. Get them done.
The reason I'm not is because the last time I was on and we were painting, I was very conscious afterwards that every time I started painting, I just zoned out and you were talking at me and I'm like, yeah, what?
Oh,
I can't
you
do
don't
two
have
things
the
at once.
ADHD like you.
I'm just very focused.
Yeah.
So
Okay, all right. You can't be having a conversation in your head and paint at the same time. The problem is you're probably focusing too much on how well you're painting. That's not a problem I suffer from.
well, I want my stuff to look nice, Rob.
Okay, well, fair enough. I mean, you probably should start somewhere.
Oh, I've won painting awards, Rob. I'll have you know.
You've won one paint award, John, at like a two-man
He's
event.
also hosted
It's
it.
like, yeah, two people there, John. Yeah.
Hey, one of them I did donate the prize for it, so I got those Space Marine dice back from myself. It's brilliant.
Fuck that 6-year-old.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Honest War Game, I have a question about AOS Realms. I'm happy to help. Let's go. If in the role before the game start, I choose a realm example, the Realm of Shadow. Oh my god, yeah. Do I get the spell? Do I get the spell, the command ability, and the terrain rule, and with the character get the command ability? Thanks. I guess. Wait, do I get the spell command ability? Command ability, yes. Terrain rules, yes. And with the
Spell
character,
depending on the tournament.
spell
they're
depending on the
using the
tournament, and the command ability. If there's a realm command ability, then anyone in your army can use that command ability, not just your general.
Yeah.
So the answer would be yes. But also, honestly, don't
Talk
know.
to your TO.
Talk to your TO, and also I mean, if you want to use it to whenever anyone starts a list, they go, "Hey, okay, so I got my arm, and it's from the Realm of Shadow," and I'm like, "I'm out." Like I stop there before they say whatever the fuck they say next. I just like, no problem. I'm going to sidestep this conversation and leave. So I don't advocate playing in the realms at all, unless you're playing with your mates. But for clarity,
It's like the terrain rules in 40k.
yeah, well, I advocate for them.
The supplemental book.
Oh yeah, the supplemental book. Yeah. Forget about that. So Sezanig says, big shout out to Leighton in the chat. I have a question. How do we feel about Sister Battle now that they've been out for a little bit? He doesn't mean that. He means Sons of Behemoth, I think. Opinion's still the same. I still think that they suffer from all the things that I talked about previously, which is that their damage is fairly lacking unless you take some gate breakers, and then you're spending points on just that damage in that location. And then you're taking Taker's Tribe to try and win for that. Like they have a specific win condition, and I think you can outplay that win condition like significantly. Some
I
armies
think
don't have the
I think
capacity
the 9 Gargants with the Kraken Eater or whatever is good. Everyone throwing stones.
Yeah, you mean the top bracket? The one where you throw or do additional damage on the stones.
Yeah, and everyone throws stones.
Okay, all right. You think that's good, or like by good? Clarify.
I think
good
it has. I think it has play, and it's going to catch a lot of the soft guard.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I think one of the advantages I've seen of it is just how like in your face they can be early. Like
they play like 40k knights. Like they're not going to be, very rarely are they ever going to be at the top table, but they will gate break a lot of armies that aren't prepared to deal with it.
Yeah, but the knights for a while were like uncontrollable.
Yeah.
Like
No,
there was
supplementing a knight in with your army was uncontrollable.
No, they were winning events as a faction.
Like LVO was nice. Like the
Castellan with the guard.
Yeah. But it was the Castellan and additional knights. There was also just like knights. They were doing pretty well generally.
No, it was like Brant or whatever. He was the one that won it with guard and the Castellan. That was his big year.
Oh, crazy horse. Thanks for donating 11 gift subscriptions to the chat, baby. That's lovely of you. That's great. Thanks, bud.
He's printing subscriptions now. Wow.
Yeah, that's really good. That's a lot of big dick energy. Thanks, buddy. And also thanks to Hearthstone, who's our new subscriber, who's never subscribed before. Welcome to the team with your big dick energy. That's good. But ultimately, like I probably was, I over-egged my opinion on the. No, I didn't over-egg it. That's not. How can I say it? Gargants will probably do fine and go 2-3. But like when I say, so there'll be some situations where Gargants might even go 4-1 and they might even win a tournament. But those are outliers in that I think that there will be mitigating circumstances as to why. If you took a tournament of equally matched people and availabilities of any army, I put Gargants very low down in a 2-3 bracket, as opposed to like you can have, like we just talked about earlier, a shit army. What was the shit army at the time, which was Squigs, played by Nick Thompson, who took out a GT before it even had a battle tone way back in the day.
The stars can align in a tournament.
They absolutely can. It doesn't mean you can't, and it's all the sweeter for doing so. However, in my opinion, then it's like pretty strong. Then that's where it's at. And then
which, I'm giving away a Mega Guardian on the show tonight.
Yeah, if you listen to Party of the All Points, you might be able to win a Mega Gargan. Are we sponsored by you now, Dan? Is that how it works?
I'm sponsored by you. Aren't we all aren't we all on the Rage of Sigmar network?
Which is hilarious that Joe and Jacob are our corporate masters, because they do not like corporates at
No.
all.
They revel in that environment, though.
Didn't we have to vote to get Party of the All Points in? Because I don't remember voting on that.
I do not remember
John,
the
your
vote,
votes were
actually.
shit.
Yeah, I do not remember the vote. Recount. Let's get it going.
Spend a bunch of money and you get less votes.
Yeah. Also, JP asked a question about Lumineth again. How do I feel with Lumineth in and around Teclis now? A little bit further on, I still think that they're super strong, as we've seen. I hadn't really pictured anyone going into 80 Sentinels, but I did talk about how strong also Sentinels were, and I said that I liked the book generally. Was my consensus. The only thing I didn't like was the Technado, and you do see the Technado stuff. You do. The TTS event stuff, though, you've had some people like using... Teclis has got ability, if some of you don't know, which is fairly open to interpretation on how you can proc his ability to do like D3 mortal wounds to several units around the board. This is basically enemy unit affected by an endless spell. So you could do something like Horrorghast, which brings down everyone's bravery, and then you're just doing mortal wounds, but you're casting Horrorghast. It's pretty dumb. So like those sorts of fringe cases are things that I talk about in the show. Very much like when I talked about the Gothazar Harvester for fucking
OBR.
OBR. I was like, this is broke on delivery, and it was, and it got retconned and FAQ'd. Change host, FAQ'd, retconned at delivery. Like, you know, whenever fucking first thing I talked about out of the book with Cities of Sigmar, Halahart, next event was won 5-0 by Halahart. Like, you know, those strong example cases like are obvious. Like, and then when like the thing that you move away from is when the nerfs come in, as they should, and they should have come in straight away. like you then get a book which sometimes it's harder to see, like we're talking about Seraphon. I just talked about Skinks all day, and while Salamanders were super undercosted, if you actually like looked at it, Skinks is still the powerhouse of that book with all the buffs. So there's but Teclis, Lumineth, Dayton, you got any thoughts on them?
I haven't really had a chance to really break into that book, or have I seen it on the table just because of COVID. And I don't play TTS, so unfortunately I don't really get to see it as much. I don't know. It's a very limited army, and it does magic.
I mean, the Sentinels are a strong element, but like, I mean, do you know what? You talk about the fucking spear lads, yeah, the Wardens. They're incredible. You have 30 Wardens on average. They do 20 mortal wounds in combat on average. That's
that sounds a bit high.
It's high, John. That's really high. But they're like, there's what I really like is the obvious strength in the Teclis book. In the Lumineth book, it being Sentinel's Teclis, and all the Alarith stuff. Is you see all the guys like someone like Benjamin. Like Benjamin Savile would never play that. He immediately goes to like, cool, I'm going to take King of the Mountain. I'm going to try and take Stoneguard. He already tries to build like the janky other list because that's just how his brain works. That's how Darren's brain works. That's how Sam's brain works. That's all those guys over in the world. Like they normally don't just take the power pick and put it on the table because they're just fucking hipsters, is why. And I do the same. You see Chachos, you think, well, I'm not going to run Chachos, so I've always like banged on about Host Arcanum so I can be the fucking cool, edgy guy. Yeah. do you
Is
get
that
the
why
same?
I'm looking at doing World Eaters at the moment, Rob? Just because I want to be the guy that's making something out of nothing.
Right. Like, so if you're building, if you like, put this into a marine context, right now, yeah, right. So if you were building, Austin J and Namati worth running now, anyone? Maybe. Probably not, though, but sorry. Gimme makes the point. The point is, right, the meta is there to be beaten. And when the book is released, let's say Change Host, like, the book's released, right? And then that's the meta, right? So, like, you either build it and buy it straight away, and then you're now the meta, or you be, like, the edgy cool kid who doesn't do that, and now you're the anti-part, like, but that's on delivery. I don't know. It's like it's an interesting kind of like timing question. But my point is,
you're always going to face those lists in tournaments.
Yeah, you are, and they're going to do well because they're so strong. Yeah. What was my point going to be?
Be original.
You could be original.
Be
Morgan. If you're going to play Marines now, John, like Dayton, like, if you're going to build I give you infinite money now to buy a Marine army. Yeah, like. No, and you want it, and I'm telling you, got to take it to a tournament. What would you buy and take? Great question.
Bodies, just intercessors, just all the intercessors.
Okay, John.
An apothecary and 9 ATVs. No, I wouldn't. I just couldn't do that to myself. I don't know. Actually, that's a tough one because it comes down to there is different play styles with Marines you could still achieve, right?
Yeah, you can. That's my point, right? Like, see, the thing though is you already know the thing that's good to buy. You know the thing that's strong. You like just buy the thing. Yeah. Right. Is my point. Like it takes.
Or lean into a list that counters that, but then you're playing that game. I've done that where I've gone to an event going, right, this list is all about killing 2 wound Marines, and then I've not played against Marines for the entire tournament.
And then you play Necrons and they steamroll.
Yeah, played against Drakari and they've just gone, right, we're just going to deal with your horde. Oh, brilliant. Cool. So it's that dangerous game. If you try too hard to be clever, you can sometimes actually hinder yourself at an event.
I'm going to write that on my tombstone. It's going to be...
Stop trying to be clever, Rob.
Yeah. But there's something to be said for that, I really do think. I tell you what, every conversation always makes me miss tournaments more. Soon. One day.
They're so good.
They're so good. The gossip, the high drama. Yeah, just the... Oh, dear. Whatever.
The drinks afterwards, the new people you meet. Oh.
New buds, new jokes. Remember that time when lol jokes? Still... One of my
that
favorite
time you make Joe Crier's mom.
Oh, yeah. That's true. What about Warhammer event where you bring your mum? We should do that. Right, we should go because we've been hanging out for ages. So it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure, John and Dayton. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
And power to you both.
Scribbing the Dayton, scribbing the Dayton, scribbing the Dayton show.
I'm gonna make a jingle for that right now.
I'll get Bud on it. He's
Yeah.
got a new microphone. He sounds fabulous.
Oh, nice. Oh, we should get Bud on the show. Crazy also asks, I heard you, thank you very much for the subscription, by the way, or the gift subscriptions, and to Jabs, Wargaming Dad, Ziggy, Hearthstone, and Dr. Numian. Both are new dudes in the show. Welcome, fucking sexy bastards.
Yeah.
Welcome to that shit show.
yeah, welcome to the team. I heard you talking about 3D printing the other day. You're looking to design your own files or print existing files. Just probably print existing files because Project Terrain is now into it. But I don't really know how to do like any of those things right now. I just wish, fuck. The quick final thing. Do you not wish someone just sold like a fucking terrain set? You're like, oh, let's play 40k, and they're like, here's a WTC 40k terrain set. Ishik does some, but I more mean like physical, like actual terrain, not like cardboard
Standardizing tournament tables. Come on.
Yeah, and then just fucking you could buy it as a one click. I would.
Yeah, just like here you go. This is an entire table's worth of coverage. Exactly what you need. Boom.
Yeah,
Take
like
away
that's it.
the actual education and needing to look into it.
I was trying to
Perfectly
market. I mean, look at the Kickstarter with the cardboard fold-up plates.
Pop-up
Yeah,
stuff,
but that's good. That's good, but they're not then like applicable for WTC 40k terrain. So it's like I'm not playing on it. Like it's a good, but it doesn't work. So, it just fucks me off. Like I was explaining to someone, she was like, "Why do you have to like design it?" And I was like, "Because no one sells this product." She's like, "How do people not sell this product? Is there not a lot of money in it?" I was like, "There's so much money." But anyway, if anyone in the chat wants
on it.
Ask GW, is there any money in this market?
All right. Right, anyway, we got to go. Any shout-outs you want to make, John?
Shout out to Gozzy.
Okay, perfect. Dayton, do you want to let people know about the opportunity to win a Mega Gargant?
Mega Gargant. Just on the party at the All Points. We're just doing we're new to the podcast scene. This is our end of season. It's a reward to all our followers. That's all. I don't really want new people to win it anyways. It's for the ones that have stuck with us.
Yeah, I've been there since the beginning.
So you have John, and he designed some art for me, and it's fantastic. So if you need any art, go visit John Scrivens.
Yeah, do that. Zyguy, I would make such a product. Please do make such a product, and I would purchase such a product. Thanks to everyone who's joined us live today. Please do join me and Owen again tomorrow. There is a tournament, so we can do some Age of Sigmar tournament results.
Woo.
And then we've got the Age of Sigmar show tomorrow, and another great week of, I hope, super fun content that makes you day.
Catch James tomorrow.
Yeah, catch James tomorrow.
Yeah, Meg Undergargants. We need to have tomorrow a big thing pushing for the Undergargants.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Like, I think it's better if we don't push too hard, so we can always rag on him for it. Like, never push him across the line, if that makes sense.
A secret.
Just tell him he's never allowed to bug Dan about elves anymore until he gets the Gargant pants.
He's asked for artwork, so I'm actually the bottleneck, but don't tell anyone I said that.
Yeah. Right, anyway, and you guys are all brilliant. Thanks very much for joining us live. Thank you to everyone. Shout out to John, he's better than Rob. Love you, intern Matt. You fucking weeb.
I miss Matt.
Yeah.
He makes me feel good about myself.
And thank you to everyone that's watching Patreon, and of course everyone on the podcast. Please stay hydrated. Thanks for listening to The Honest Wargamer. We've been your host, Rob. We, collectively.
We, the royal we.
Yeah, I still don't have a sign-off. Goodbye.